back, kind of in that line where in front of Corey, and he was taking a picture, and she was like, she just went,
Okay, go. This is Balki music. This is my friend Benny, and now we're going to sing the bibi-babka song. When you are rolling up and down, I just make sure you roll it slow. If you make it not too quick, I mean bibi-babka make you sing. When you put the feet in, just make sure you wear a green. And you smile on what you bibi-babka as well. Now you sing. No, that's not good. It's not just kids. Thanks. Hey!
Shouldn't have started. Yes, that's what it's like to work in. Yep. Welcome to Knoxville, guys. Thanks so much. So they say in show business, never work with children.
That we should all do shout outs to the kids. And I was like, I don't want to talk to the kids because they don't know who I am. You know, did you watch Joshua? Why do they keep foisting this bald man on us? Who is this guy that shows up every 8th episode for no reason? So I was like, I want to talk to my friend. I want to talk to the actual person that I used to talk to 25 years ago. I want to shout out my homie, you know? And Blue's Clues was always about a respectful conversation. And it used to be about changing colors, but if we just scale that up, now it's about the pandemic, and it's about how difficult things are, and it's about student loans, our parents getting sick, life, all the weird, difficult, wonderful things that it is to be alive, right? And I didn't write it. I just kind of had some bullet points, and I pulled my favorite producer aside. I said, what if I did this? And she was like, just get out there and talk to your friends, Steve. And that's what I did. And it was just improv, right? The first one made me cry, which I was very surprised by. And then we did it again, and then the crew cried. And I was like, well, maybe there's something there. And I was like, you know, but I remember even that day, they weren't even sure they were going to put it on the internet. It was really just whatever, see what happens. Like, no one really thought that much of it.
We knew. Josh and I were in the green room having a snack. Josh's nickname is Snacks. So if you give him more than 30 seconds, he's going to be having a snack somewhere. And we missed it because they you see the red light go on when you're in filming in a sound stage or whatever. You can't open up a door because you're just going to ruin whatever's going on. So we knew they were filming. We're like, we're here having a snack. So and then people started to file in, and like Steve said, everybody had these red faces with flushed cheeks, some water coming down their faces. People. We were like, something just happened. What just happened? We missed it. And then later we realized that
we didn't know. No one knew that it was going to kick everyone into childhood like that. No. It was just honestly just being very sincere and direct. That's all it was. That was the impulse, and it just came out that way. And the fact that it was resonant was as much about what you all brought to it as it was what I did. So.
Thank you.
Hi there. But it's fine. I'm meditating now. But I wanted to ask, because you guys helped my parents a lot. My dad would work at night. He was a jeweler. My mom would work during the day. And so you guys meditated but still cried. I'm part of my family. And so thank you for that. But also, what advice do you have for someone who still doesn't know what they're doing and is also 6 in a much bigger body?
Well, thank you very much, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're sorry.
No, I mean, breathing is important, Yeah, that first, take a breath and hold it for a little bit, and then slowly release the breath. We can always do that. We want to do it right now.
Yes.
That is nice.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. That always works a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not professionally, qualified to give anybody advice in any capacity. I don't know. But I will say, it is my understanding that none of us really know.
Yeah, that's right.
It's. I mean, we might know little bits of things here and there. Like, we as we grow older, we'll develop pockets of expertise. But none of us knows what's going to happen next. And so anybody that says they does is either lying to you or to themselves, in my opinion. And so do your best, and your best is going to be all right. And sometimes it's not, and that's also going to be all right.
Yeah, I would agree with that last part fully. It braces is an overused word, but accommodate the inevitable imperfection of your life is close to advice that I would give. And also, if the imperfection of your life becomes more than you can carry, ask for help, which is something that we did in every single episode of Blues Clues. And when my life became more imperfect than I could carry, I had to remember to do that. And it was very, very important, very consequential in my life. And I'm sorry I gave you that.
No, I'm sorry. I was supposed to be like that, but I got very sorry. You told me coping. I'm sorry.
Thank you. No.
True.
All I did was show up.
It was enough.
Unfortunately, we only have time for probably one more question, guys. So,
Me and my sisters grew up watching Blues Clues, so it's an honor to talk and meet with you guys today. Who's your favorite character besides Blue out of all Blues Clues characters?
1, 2, 3.
Mr. Salt. Or, close second, side paper drawer. She's so sweet and so shy, but her whole point in her life was to open up.
Yeah.
Those two.
Them's the two.
we can do one more.
First off, I want to say thank you for everything. I know it started as just a job for you all, but it became so essential to so many people, as you can see. I'll keep the question easy. So Steve was Steve, Josh is Josh. Why is Donovan Joe?
Well, because, in the words of Maya Angelou, people will forget what you did, people forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And so I needed that separation, because I made so many people feel like this book is. So it was it's sort of like a preemptive witness protection sort of thing, so I could run around the world and be like, hey, my name's Donovan Patton, as opposed to like that guy who showed up and ruined it. It was actually decided upon before I was ever hired. There was a vote around the company, and no matter who was hired, they were going to be Joe, because the intention was to give a little bit of separation between actor and character, and it just became confusing. Let's be frank.
Well, that's not how I remember it. I remember, seriously, I remember that they sort of thought that Donovan was a cool name, but that kids wouldn't be able to say it.
I was saying syllables.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
So they
But I was also saying, you don't use your real name. You will create insane identity tension in your life. Don't do this.
But they gave Josh the option between Josh.
I said that to him too. He's like,
Yeah.
whatever, dude, I'm doing it.
Yeah, and then Josh. It kind of makes sense. He doesn't seem like a Ben to me, or an Obi-Wan.
But great question.
Yes. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for the guys, Steve and Don.
I've heard tales that Lando tends to cheat, and you know what I'm betting? I'm betting he swapped that, because if it was a digital thing, he'd be screwed. But I'm going to ask you to come over here for a second, pocket, and see if he's hiding a card in his pocket. I don't trust you, that's why. Here, go in his pocket right there and see if he's scheming you.
Oh, there
what is that? Well, listen.
Depends on, I was just saying to Mark this morning, when you're very close to the show, usually, when you're very close to the show, you want some distance because you don't want people to think that's all you can do. Then over time, you lose that, as you lose many other things that are associated with immaturity, and then it's just pleasant and fun. So, like for instance, Mark and I did a silly video this morning for Instagram, and I put him on a luggage trolley. He was pulling him, and somebody on Instagram said, "Oh, I wish he'd said, 'Oh my Lord.'" So then we sat down and just recorded it, and it was fun because somebody wanted. But right at the beginning, I think when we were really close, maybe we would push back a little bit.
Yes. That space between yourself and the character.
Which turns out to be BS, because we just are.
Yeah, there is no
No, but you do it as a young actor. You want to make sure that everybody knows that you're capable of all kinds of things. And then when you get older and more mature, you think, "Gosh, isn't it great that people care?" And then it's
Or remember.
yeah, no, it's wonderful. But how did they? I'm gonna guess that when they asked Jaleel to do it, he might not have been so happy to do it.
He's like, man, right, but Henry.
And Henry would have just been
But
happy.
Henry initially he did.
Would you give us an "Oh my Lord"?
Oh my Lord.
We love you guys. We love that you will play with us that way. It's all
There's a
about
person
love.
with a question, and it seems a very deep question.
Please. Let me get to you next.
You guys were walking by the pillar you were dragging to like it was too windy. Was it really windy that day or was it faking?
No, we were playing, but we were in the opening credits.
Yes.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it wasn't windy, but because Chicago's a windy city, we just thought we would do it. I think did they have a no? Because that was a last minute idea. But it's pure pantomime. But it was really fun, and I think one of us. And they kept saying, I think one of us falls down.
Yes.
And they kept it, and we were laughing because we were having. But that young miss back there, she had a question. And what is it, young lady?
Something that always has stuck with me over the years is something from each character. When Larry would have a plan, he would go, "I have," and then Donald would go, "Oh."
Oh, yes!
A plan.
Oh, yes!
I have, oh God, a plan.
Yes, I remember that.
No.
No.
Absolutely right.
And then how there was an episode of how Balki would determine who would win some kind of sports game, like a football game, like if like the bear could beat whatever the other team's mascot was or whatever. Y'all remember that?
That one I don't remember, but I have to tell a story about that. Do you remember that there was in the kitchen, there was a thing where we were sitting very close to each other, and right behind me it was the kitchen counter. Fortunately, it was made of sheetrock. Y'all know what sheetrock is, right? It's pretty flexible. And I don't know why they kept this, but I was sitting with my head right near the wall, and Mark, come and show them. Come and do it. And we were arguing about, the characters were arguing about something, and all of a sudden in rehearsal, Mark just did this. What?
That's not what
But plus, let me talk. Wait,
Comedy is a dangerous business.
It just banged my head against the counter. And the thing is, I found it funnier than anybody ever did. And he was sorry he'd come up with it because every time there's a bunch of outtakes. There's a bunch of outtakes. Every time we came to it, he would do it with more and more delicacy. And he just flipped my head up like a little bubble.
But then we were sitting. Your head was against. You were by the wall, and I was by the oven. So I first did your head, and then I banged my own.
We would just. That actually hurt, Mark. No, I'm just kidding. Medic! We would take some little tiny thing like that, and it would delight us to the point where we didn't even know if anybody else thought it was funny. I would laugh, because I can't, I have to laugh. And Mark would enjoy it for a second, and then he'd say, "Part-time!" That was the real catchline of the show, but it's not on. The other thing that's all the way through the show, because I am a very non-technical actor and I could never stay on my mark. And when you don't stay on your mark, which is a piece of tape on the floor, you throw a shadow on the other person's face. So Mark tried for a few episodes to just get me to see it. And finally, what you see all the way through the show is this. I never minded. I was grateful. I was grateful for it. He would just
Put him in his camera?
Yeah, just because he would throw a shadow. And it was the most expedient. He tried to explain to me, and he said, "You see, if you're in that light, then you have to find your light." And I would say, "I don't care. I don't care about tape. I just care about human behavior." He would put me there. And I think the first couple times I was a little bit, and then I was like, "This is fun." He'll just put me where I need to be.
I just say one of the great things about the two of us working together is that Bronson, I was a very physical, technically oriented actor, and Bronson was all about the magic of the moment. And working together, I learned to loosen up and find inspiration, and Bronson learned a little discipline.
Yeah, but it
was great. It really made us both better actors.
I don't know why it took us so long to actually realize that that the story of the show really was the story of our friendship, because in the show, Balki leaps before he looks, and Larry wants to plan everything and make sure it's okay, and then they kind of each just give a little and meet in the middle, and that's exactly what we did. Comedically, and it took us a minute to kind of recognize it. But by the time that he was, muscling me onto my thing, and I was laughing, and he knew not to hurt my feelings, and would just say, like, "Come on, and we started to enjoy it. We didn't know at the beginning that it was absolutely, completely about us. We thought it was a comedy.
It was a tragedy.
Well, that was obviously a great question, so thank you. Look what we got out of that, all from you. Thank you so much for that. That was great. Someone else? Yes, in the yellow, please.
Can we talk about the bibi-babka episode for a minute?
Oh yes, the bibi-babka episode is pretty much our favorite, right?
Yes, yeah. Absolutely.
And do people know, you know what the bibi-babka episode is? It's Mark and I worked very, very, very closely with our director, Joel Zwick, and we were like, you know, this trio, and they knew I just love to giggle. I can't, you know, I like to be right close to the emotion, and that sometimes includes just laughing. And so the two of them got right in my face before we shot it, because it was, first of all, the audience only is gonna laugh and find it really funny once. That's it. And so when the audience was there and the momentum was great and everything, and these two little men would converge on me with great affection, but also, you know, just like this. And they for the love of God, don't laugh. And of course, it was one of the funniest things ever, because we're waltzing around and we're doing kind of silly stuff. And I didn't laugh, but I wanted to laugh.
Yes, you did.
Because it was so much fun. And also the reset of the pastries and the cream everywhere would have been insane. But one of the other fun things about it is that there was this dueling things of alliteration all the way through. They'll do the bibi-babka's budding, and he had the last word as written and as rehearsed. And then on the break, right before we shot it, I thought, wait, there's this, you know, this old-fashioned Jewish expression for a friend, which is bubi. And so he had the last line, which was, they'll do the bibi-babka's Balki buddy. And then I said, okay, buddy, okay, bubi. And then he gives me this long look of, okay. I'm trying to think of something and I can't think of anything. I guess you really did it, didn't you? And it's all in there, which is a great, great, great moment. And he's looking at me just as pure Mark, like, okay, can't really be mad because that really wasn't kind of good. Is there anything I can think of? No, there's nothing. And it's all there. There's not a cut. There's nothing. It's wonderful. I did a little dance of victory. That's a good one. Do you have another favorite?
No, that's definitely.
What about the honeymooners?
Honeymooners.
That was pretty. That was pretty.
The plumbing show.
Yeah, we just, you know, the thing is, we would get so excited because it had good stuff in it, and then when the audience came in, we would get that wonderful adrenaline that's really in your bones. It's not like way out here. It's like, so then we would come up a little bit into it, and we had this incredible electricity between us and this trust and it was so exciting. I mean, it really was like, it was like theater. It was. It was much more like theater than it was like.
Yeah, we would do it, which I've heard from other people who have done 3-camera comedy or multiple camera comedy. We would do the scenes maybe twice, just straight
For the
through.
first 4 years, we would shoot once.
Yes.
Once under pain of death.
Yeah.
With you staring daggers. Energy. It was the same, and it was also for our good, for our mutual good. And it was wonderful. It was wonderful on screen and off.
It's years later, the realization that the space between ourselves and the characters was non-existent.
Non-existent.
Well, this has convinced me, plus the reaction of the audience, that it's only a matter of time before Perfect Strangers does come back. We're going to see this.